We are here with Neal Bandry and Bill Falloon, and we have 3 glasses of champagne, which is rare on my programs. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And what does L'chaim mean? To life. And we are here in the Church of Perpetual Life, and this is a very interesting moment. And it is Christmas Eve as well. Bill, what is the significance of your being here tonight?
Well, we're trying to make a change in the perception of reality. Most people feel that they're here for a limited period of time and then it's all over. Our Church of Perpetual Life, of course perpetual being in a word, kind of implies we want it to go on indefinitely.
Well, this certainly is a very unique facility and I'm very impressed. It's beautiful. And as someone just indicated, it really is innovative and unusual in so many different aspects. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, there are like-minded individuals who want to belong to an organization that preaches or teaches, let's use the word teaches, scientific rationality. Individuals who want to be enlightened every time they attend the services here about something that they can do to prevent a problem from a medical standpoint from developing, or if they have a serious illness, possibly find a solution.
Neal, what would you like to add to that?
Well, as in my capacity as officiator of the church, officiator being a minister who has not gone to ministerial school, someone who is officiating the events, I think that what we're also wanting to do is bring inspiration to people toward these goals of ending aging and defeating death. The important thing for us to do over the next year, this coming 2014, which will be our first full year here in the Church of Perpetual Life, is to bring a good deal of top-ranked speakers, people who can really bring some great programs here to Hollywood, Florida, for people to come in from all over the state, all over the Southeast, all over the country, to come together and discuss these things. Also, as you noticed tonight, we had our first live streaming video. We had people from all over the world coming here, not in person, but virtually being here, watching Bill's great presentation and the Remembrance of the Resurrectables, a touching piece that was masterminded by Bill this evening.
Well, very fascinating his speech was, and you're right, in today's age, so many movements and organizations and churches really are doing things online and reaching people all over the world. It's really quite fascinating. Bill, speaking of science and innovation, it's interesting to point out that years ago, people would have ridiculed the thought of a cellular phone that can actually recognize a song, say who sung it, and everything else. It's just this voice recognition, pattern recognition, science fiction becoming science fact. So how does this apply in your thoughts with regard to perpetuating better health?
Well, it's very simple. If we translate the exponential increase in technology that enabled our handheld phones hyphen computers, because they're both phones and computers, if we translate that into medical advancements, we will achieve physical immortality. Human beings will live for an indefinite period of time. Indefinite, extended, healthy human lifespans will occur merely by translating the progress that's already occurred in the electronics field.
Critics would say that's far-fetched. However, if we look at the facts, 100 years ago, people lived how long, Bill?
They lived in 1900 an average of 46 years.
And how would you use that model to reinforce the point you're making tonight?
In 2013, we're at the end of 2013 right now, typical people are living to be a little bit over 80 years of age if they take care of themselves. If they don't usually make it to 70. But that's nothing. We're talking about exponentially extended healthy human lifespans. And that's going to occur analogous to the way computers evolved from boxes of some electronic circuits that did very little to the handheld computers we have that do more than anyone could have ever imagined in the past.
Interestingly, I had a discussion earlier with Ben Best, who brought up some other very interesting points that many would regard as controversial. What are your thoughts on that?
Richard, you know, there's a great scientist, Dr. Aubrey de Grey, who has the concept of the escape velocity of immortality or life extension, radical life extension. And I'd like to interject that the idea there is just what Bill is saying. You know, imagine 100 years ago, instead of living to be 46, you lived to be 92. Well, imagine now, in this time, not being able to live to 92, but suppose you were able to live to be 150, 160, 180, which would be analogous to the doubling of the lifespan which occurred in the past 100 years. So imagine if you can live to be 180 in 80, 90 more years, what will the medical scene look like at that time? Where will we be with the radical life extension process from where we are now? I think we're right on the curve. I think it's maybe Ray Kurzweil or someone who said we're on the up curve, the dynamic increase in the potential for life extension to occur right now in our lives. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, you should live in interesting times, and I think these are the most interesting times of all.
I'd say so. Bill, a question for you. With followers worldwide watching on the internet and communicating in other ways, what's your vision for the future for this institution?
I feel the Church of Perpetual Life it's going to increase from a standpoint of attendance, membership. I feel it provides an interesting, to say the least, interesting alternative for people to spend their time, to enable like-minded individuals to interact with each other, share ideas, educate each other about proven methods that can prevent disease, better treat disease, and eventually enable people to live for significantly longer periods of time than what they are right now.
Neal, many individuals in the world are more religious, some are less. Your congregation includes Jewish people, Christians, some more religious, some less, but you're non-denominational. How does that work?
So we're non-denominational. If you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you're Buddhist, if you're atheist, if you're agnostic, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your background is or where your spiritual beliefs are. What is important to us is, do you want to live radically longer than you may think you can now? Are you interested in not dying? If that's the case, then you'd be interested in the presentations that we will be able to offer here in Hollywood.
And there's no contradiction with what occurs here and the lessons you teach and individual people's beliefs.
Just the opposite, I think. With Fedorov's book, I think if you were to read what he had to say, essentially what Fedorov was saying is, it's our obligation to
achieve universal salvation. It is our obligation as human beings to develop technologies that will enable us to live for indefinite periods of time. And it goes further than that. Fedorov advocated that we make scientific attempts to resurrect those who are no longer alive. These are hard to imagine right now, and we can't even interpret them accurately from a scientific standpoint. But our prophet, Nikolai Fedorov, put it in writing, and many of his prophecies have come true. Famine does not exist in this world other than for geopolitical reasons in which food is intentionally deprived from people. But technology now exists to make sure that every human being on this planet eats. And when Fedorov was doing his writings, famine was a major cause of death.
Yes.
Very interesting. And back again to people's beliefs. So many of your congregants and followers worldwide actually attend their individual churches, synagogues, and so forth, and there's no contradiction in terms. This is just like, basically, I would say, scientific interest.
You know, Richard, there are a lot of people who will attend a Christian church and then go to a Jewish temple, or might go to a Buddhist temple and then go to a Christian church, or may go to an atheist outing and then go to whatever they want to go to. I mean, there's, many different concepts there, but our meetings here are, this is Thursday night, Tuesday night, Saturday night evenings that hopefully won't interfere with what their other spiritual beliefs may be. But I find it a very important spiritual belief, the concept of ending aging, reversing aging, certainly defeating death.
Most interesting. I want to thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.
You're welcome.